she's all dolled up for the company function at New York's finest cocktail bar. As I walk to the train, ducking out of the rain, New York's finest subway car.
What is going on, family, friends, and folks? This is Finngreen. I'm coming back at you with another episode of the Green Street Podcast, and today we are going to be talking about my single, Company Function. So this song is one of my favorite songs I've ever written. I'm super, super proud of it. It's a song that always kind of comes to mind as a definition of who I am as a musician, what my sound is. I think this song really speaks a lot to my songwriting, my storytelling, to my guitar playing. It's one of those defining songs that I think really represents who I am. So yeah, let's get into the history of this song and how it came to be. So this song came to be while I was living in Albany, upstate, in a neighborhood called the Mansion District. Sounds fancy, definitely not fancy. I was living in a little garden apartment on Myrtle Avenue, and just figuring out the next stage of things in my life. I was playing a lot of music. I started teaching guitar lessons that year, working in various restaurants, taking some trips down to the city to visit my friends here in Brooklyn. So that's kind of the era of my life that this song came out of. The musical idea came from just messing around on this guitar right here, my beautiful Fender Strat. I was playing through some jazzy diatonic seventh chords in the key of E flat, just kind of descending the diatonic chords, threw a couple secondary dominants in there, kind of came up with the chord progression. Once that was solidified, I just played a little pentatonic riff over top of it, and that's what you hear in the recording. So it was just came from just sitting around practicing, playing through my chords, and deciding to make some of what I played into a song. So the lyrical themes of this song are specifically kind of telling a story, a bit of a compilation of some different experiences with me personally, experiences with some of my friends who at the time lived in New York. I live in New York City now, but at the time I just had a couple friends that I would come and stay with, crash on their couches. Yeah, so the song kind of illustrates what it's like to be a artist, kind of a struggling musician or actor or, insert art form here, and to be kind of running around in the city, doing your best, trying to make ends meet, working your shitty jobs while trying to, put energy towards your creativity. And then kind of the frustration and jealousy that can come to mind when you see people who played their cards a little differently, got their college degree, got their, entry-level job, their salary, their insurance, their benefits, all these, stable things in life that come with taking a bit more of a conventional path. At the time, I think I felt a little bit more jealousy and a little more kind of like insecurity about that, whereas now I feel very happy to have made the choices that I've made, and I feel very lucky to be a creative person and to take this path, and I don't really compare myself in that same way to people who've made different choices and have a different path in life. And I know tons of people who are also very creative who do have stable jobs and finished college and this and that, and it's not as black and white as the song might make it out. But basically that's the lyrical theme. And the song kind of takes a character of a guy who's living this musician life and then a girl who's living this kind of good life, cushy, fancy job, everything. And, juxtaposes those two. So she is all dolled up for the company function and out at her fancy cocktail bar. And me, the singer, but also the kind of main character of the song, is running around New York, dragging a heavy guitar case and taking the subway in New York's finest subway car, which is, of course, a bit of an ironic statement because even the nicest subway car in all of New York City is not that nice at the end of the day. So that is the lyrical, thematical content of the song. And I think that storytelling and that kind of like feeling is something that a lot of people relate to from all different sides and perspectives. So I'm happy with how the lyrics came out. Okay, so now I'll touch on the recording process of the song. So the riff and chords and everything was written on the Strat. I actually played the rhythm guitar on the Eastwood Airline guitar that I had been playing before I switched to the Strat as my main guitar. I'll put a picture of that guitar up on the screen. That's a very special guitar to me, but no longer is in the family. I think my dad sold it because I don't play it anymore. Neither of us played it. So it was a lovely guitar, and I loved it very much. But yeah, I think the Strat kind of took its place and has been more of what I need in my current playing. Recording process, which happened at Tummy Rub Studios in Albany, which is a great, awesome studio resource for people in the capital region. I definitely want to give a big shout out to them. Shout out to the kind of St. Rose music program, DIY scene, Albany people who do so much for that local music scene. Big up, mad respect. So yeah, Tummy Rub Studios, I had my buddy Dan come up from the city. He is the feature, the second verse on the song. And it's particularly important to me that he's on the song because I think that at the time he sort of embodied a lot of what the song was about, of being a musician in New York, kind of taking a lot of risks. He was working as a sound guy at some different venues, but trying to put the pieces together and work on his music and live his dreams. And I think that he was someone that I really looked up to, of like he was doing it. He was giving it a go, like had been living in the city for years at that point and has now been in the city for something like 7 years. And so having him on the song was very special. He came up from New York and came up to Albany, and we got in the studio at Tummy Rub. I recorded the drums, bass, guitars, and then we got the vocals done, me and Dan kind of going back and forth. But yeah, so we got everything recorded at Tummy Rub with the help of Gabe, who is an awesome engineer, great musician, and part of the band Canella, as well as some other bands. And then also the lead singer of Canella, Juliana Castrione, was the one that did the mixing and mastering for Company Function as well. So big shout out to Canella, that band, to Gabe and Juliana for making this song come to be. So the song came out in the fall of 2023 and honestly didn't really make that much of a splash. It was just another thing up on my streaming platforms. Didn't really put out much in the way of like video content or anything around it. Just sort of came out and people started listening to it and people vibed with it. And slowly over time, it's become a song that when most people think of my music, it's one of the first ones that comes to mind. It's, if I dare say so myself, it's pretty catchy, and the melody is something that a lot of people like to sing along to. I've had some shows recently where people are like singing the chorus with me.
If you know it, sing the words. Now she's all dolled up for the company function at New York's finest cocktail bar. As I walk to the train, ducking out of the rain. New York's finest. One more time. Now she's all dolled up for the company function at New York's finest cocktail bar. As I walk to the train, ducking out of the rain. New York's finest subway car.
And that's super special, and really, as a musician, like one of the biggest benchmarks of a successful song. So it's really awesome to see that, and I want to see that keep on growing. That's part of why I'm doing this podcast episode specifically about Company Function. I'm going to do one about the whole EP later. This song is really special, and it's really cool to see people receive it like that. Another side note is just that on the album version that came out with Care Too Much, Shannon Taya, my good friend and past bandmate, she sang the harmonies, the backing vocal harmonies on the chorus, which added so much to the texture of the chorus and to the song as a whole. Now I kind of can't even go back and listen to the one that doesn't have her on it because it just sounds so right with Shannon's vocals. But anyhow, I want to talk a little bit about my plans for company function as of now. I would really love to start the process of making some video content to put out on Instagram and TikTok and things using the song, kind of telling the story of the song that's very relatable, I feel, to a lot of people, and start getting that out to the world. I also would love to, when I can figure out the logistics, do a full-length music video kind of telling the story of the song, sort of a full kind of like cinematic experience of the company function story. And yeah, so all of that is in the works. All of that is my intention. I'm speaking it, from my mouth to God's ears, I hope, for the new year, for 2026, that I can get that done and continue the momentum of this song that I am really proud of. Alrighty, so there you have it. That is the Green Street Podcast episode detailing my single Company Function, how it was written, how it was recorded, and my plans for it in the future as a song that I'm really proud of and want to continue to share with the world. Thank you so much for listening. Peace to you. I hope you have a wonderful day. My name is Finn Green, and I'm out. Bye.